University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Were people beeping?
Team USA tonight,
Start it
baby!
off.
Beating Canada all night long! USA! Go USA!
Welcome into Ermanni Network. It's on a beautiful Thursday. Anson Wells is with me, and so is that crazy deranged individual that you saw in the video. No, I'm just joking. That's P. Spivak, representing Team USA.
That's right, baby.
Who is playing tonight in the Four Nations tournament in the final against Canada, our neighbors to the north, and that was his excitement. Also, we're having a watch party for that Woodward Sports Network. The watch party is at RJ's. That's what I thought. RJ's in Rochester. So if you guys want to join Woodward Sports, if you want to be like Pete, man, throw that red, white, and blue on and have some fun. Come to RJ's. It'll be a lot of fun. Stick will be there. Some of the guys will be there, and you can have a lot of fun. Ricky, what's going on? I know I skipped you an intro. What's up, brother?
You're good. I'm chilling. I think Kendrick should have had you be Uncle Sam at the Super Bowl.
There you go, buddy.
The message wouldn't have hit us hard, but it would have been good.
We don't even know what the message was.
Pete, talk to me about your excitement for the Four Nations tournament that's ending up with, pretty much the match we all wanted to see. We wanted to see USA and Canada. You saw how it opened up.
That's right,
opened up with 3 fights, 90 seconds, that old school hockey that kind of brought us in as a culture, a couple decades ago. Talk about your excitement for tonight.
Well, I tell you what, guys, tonight is really the night that we have all been looking forward to as hockey fans, because when you get USA and Canada together, it's almost like USA and Russia, because USA and Canada is a bloodbath. They play for their country. They play for the man next to them. They play for their goaltenders. They play for their families. They play for the bloodlines. It's a great 100% matchup. I think this is how all countries should settle any disputes that they ever have. They should just do it the old gladiator way and just hit the ice. But tonight's going to be a spectacular game. Everybody is healthy. There was reports of an illness going around the locker room there, Bray, but everybody is healthy. They're ready to go, and we are going to see what happens tonight over at RJ's.
I like that, Pete. Kind of like the opening scene in Troy.
Yes.
Where you have Troy, you have Achilles, a.k.a. Brad Pitt, is going against Bo Agrius.
There you go.
Who was the big guy with the bald head.
That's right.
Achilles won with one move.
That's right.
One move, but I definitely agree. Anson, is it just me after watching Quarter Goals? Hey, everybody out there watch Quarter Goal. I promise you it's more than just LeBron. It's about Team USA winning the gold last summer in Paris. It's really amazing. They highlight Victor Wembanyama, who we'll get to in a second. News coming, major news regarding him, but highlights Paris, and that team who has more than 9 NBA pros on that team. Highlights Joker in Serbia, highlights SGA in Canada, but then it sheds light on other USA players. Obviously, LeBron is LeBron, but Steph got a lot of love. KD got a lot of love, so a lot of fun to look at. I guess off the energy of that, and then this Four Nations tournament, this is why the All-Star game, this is why the NBA All-Star game has to get to the element where it's USA or North America versus the world, because you see the intent. Like, this will probably be the most watched hockey game in Lord knows I don't know how long, because people are intensive. When you put the country on the line, you're able to get past the money or the ego and the other things. Then it becomes, well, my nation is better than your nation, and that's what you're seeing in hockey. I can't wait to watch tonight. Where are you? And I know we've talked about this all week, but USA, as it relates to the All-Star game, come on. This is the way to go.
I haven't been as excited about a hockey game since what?
There we go.
08?
08, 100%. Last time we won.
When we lost to Pittsburgh.
09.
Yeah, 09.
We talked about it yesterday.
I can't believe we lost Game 6 at the Joe, but that's neither here nor there. I don't want to bring that up.
But we talked about it yesterday, and realistically, this is Hockey Town, and we haven't had anything to really get excited about to watch as hockey fans for 15 years. So it's a huge day. There's 4 Michiganders on Team USA. One of them, obviously, one of our own from the Red Wings, Dylan Larkin. But, there's so many.
Quick question. Can he win MVP? Like, what would that do for Detroit? What would that do for Dylan Larkin, who's been finding, we've been trying to find a way. How can he crack the code of being one of the ones? Like, if he's MVP of the Four Nations tournament,
If he has a meaningful goal today, you can cash that 40-1 ticket because that's what the bet is right now on him to be MVP. 40-1, and that'd be pretty sweet to make some money on one of our own boys. But no, this is amazing, and to kind of parlay into the talk about what change they can make to the NBA All-Star Game, because the numbers came out and it was the second least watched All-Star Game in NBA history.
4.8 million.
And the thing is when you got East or West on your chest or Shaq's OGs on your chest, you don't care.
Yeah.
But when you got USA on your chest or whatever country that you grew up in that you're representing, it's a whole different thing. I guess my question is we're walking into this perfect political firestorm that has elevated this game tonight into just the stratosphere.
This is very real.
And so I guess my question is do you want Canada as part of a North American team in hoops? Because to me, we never really saw any Canadian players ever make an impact in the NBA. We've obviously seen SGA be the premier Canadian player in the NBA. And to me, ever since 1992, everybody else has wanted to play this game, and they've all been chasing the U.S. I don't want any Canadians on that team. I want the U.S. on our chest and then the world on theirs. And then they come get it from us.
Yeah, no, this is true. And I bring you in on this, Ricky. That would be great to have USA truly versus the world, but I'm going to call a spade a spade. The world has a lot of talent. So that's why I was trying. But
it ain't going to be easy.
But to your point, it makes it real when you can just say those three letters. USA.
Now, do you think what do you say? Who was the player I just blinked on him. The Canadian player you want on the team.
Oh, SGA.
Do you think he'll make that big of an impact to where we could lose or win the game?
Well, I put it to you this way. Like in 1992 when Team USA played, the Dream Team, when they went against the world, like they didn't play a team with more than one NBA player on it. They played a total of 5. And that's why they get a lot of credit on who's the best team, the Redeem Team, the Dream Team. The Dream Team only played 5 NBA guys.
Mark Aguirre on Mexico.
100%. Look at you with the deep drop. But Canada had 11 NBA players on that team featuring Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He is you can call him 1B to Joker's 1A over the last 2 years in the NBA. Like absolutely. He is that good. And I think only one more year. But to what Anson said, you're right. If you want to make it USA, if you want to truly get that intensity that you're seeing in hockey, F it.
I agree.
Keep them out as well.
See, the interesting thing to me is I think the reason why Team USA struggled in the mid-aught years, the first decade of the 2000s, was because you got guys that are all playing on different teams that are brought together and just go out and play.
Yeah.
Whereas Serbia and France and all these teams, Spain, they've been playing together their entire
15
lives.
years.
Now, there's some crossover on the AAU level, but where the world team will struggle initially is you got to put SGA with Joker, with Giannis, with a bunch of guys that, they played in the same gym and against each other and maybe played on the same team on occasion. But that's something that they've got to overcome because they're not going to have that familiarity like all of the guys in the Serbian team have.
I'm glad you said that. One of the things about the documentary, and I won't tell you too much because it's a really good doc, you got to watch it, Court of Gold, I think is what it is. That's what they talked about. And you've seen that clip circulating online where KD says, man, spare me all that about chemistry. You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do when you have to guard Steph in the clutch? What are you going to do heads up me 1v1? And that rears its head. I don't think it's about the chemistry for Team USA. Chemistry for Serbia, 15 years some of those players have played. Remember Ricky Rubio? Ricky Rubio had played with Paul Gasol and Marc Gasol for years before that he was of age, if you will.
Ricky Rubio beat Team USA.
I remember, 100%. That chemistry is great. The problem with Team USA was the care. Like the problem was the care. The problem wasn't about having chemistry or being tossed in the same team, and now you got to figure. It's the care. And I think ever since Coach K, the Redeem Team, Team USA, LeBron, KD, Carmelo, D-Wade, insert those guys, they now know what this means. Like you'll watch KD, you'll believe KD is just as patriotic as any soldier that went to war when you hear him talk about his country. So obviously, I'm not trying to make basketball and war, but you'll see the patrioticness. It was the care. Now those guys care. You saw Steph at the end of the game in France,
my
you
God, never
knew
forget that.
what that meant to him. You saw KD come off the bench game 1 against Serbia, 21 points, 8 and 8, 8 for 8 at halftime. They now care about that game, and that's what you want them to do with the All-Star game. Find that level of care.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, what I've seen since they lost, the Ben Wallace team that lost in the World Championships, and when we lost to Spain in the Olympics, Team USA made a very concerted effort. They brought in Krzyzewski, and they set this Team USA camps up so that they weren't going to miss a step. And whatever they're talking about when they're training in the off season, it fired those guys up, and they figured it out. But at the same time, like you mentioned, Braid, like the world is catching up. This is the second most popular game in the world. And since 1992, guys have been making the choice between soccer and basketball, and a lot of their great guys are going towards the basketball route. But for me, it is absolutely the format. We talked about the black versus white game in basketball, All-Star game, which would be interesting. But obviously, I don't think that there's any better format, and we're seeing it come to life over this last week with the NHL Four Nations game. I'm just hoping that next year they expand it, because if they're going to have preliminary rounds, they can add in the Czech Republic, they can add in Russia, and really get everybody involved. And now you kind of get a Winter Olympics that you don't have to wait 4 years for. Every single year.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that, man. We'll put a pin on that for a second. Side note, your boy be 42 tomorrow.
Man, you're looking good, though, baby. Look at 32 over there.
I appreciate
for
that.
Braylon Edwards.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's crazy. I always tell this story, since I've been older. I remember, shout out to my boy Ron Johnson. Ron Johnson went to King High School. Ron Johnson went to the University of Minnesota, one of the best wide receivers in Big Ten history. Got drafted 4th round by the Baltimore Ravens. I say that to say this, Anson, Pete, and Ricky. He invited me to his 23rd birthday party. I remember going out. I'm 20. He's 23. It's downtown at the Riverfront Apartments. And I just remember walking in, like, all these guys are 23. I'm just looking different. I'm like, these guys old. I'm like, but not like old, though, but like, man,
I know what you're saying. When
they're starting
young, everybody
100%
seems
I'm like,
grown.
these ONs, you know what I'm saying? But fast forward, man, that time comes quick. Like 23 is come and gone, so it's 30 and 40, but I'm blessed. I'm living a great life. Family is supporting me. I love him as well, man. I feel like I'm more centered than I've ever been in this last year run. So I welcome 42 tomorrow with no
we love you too.
headache.
Hey, to all of you Wolverine fans that will be at the Chrysler to watch the rivalry game, bring your Haribo gummy bears and other presents you would like to bestow on one of the most impactful Wolverines since 2000. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit later.
Not yet.
Maybe we can talk about that a little later.
You know what? That's why sometimes you got to love your rivals, man. Anson, I appreciate that. We will get to that because interesting post yesterday out of actually someone that I know, the 10 most impactful Wolverines since 2000. So I want you to start doing the math, do your list, you figure it out. We'll get into that in the second hour.
Swanky conversation.
It will be a swankster for us. But before, let's talk about your Detroit Lions.
Okay.
$25 extra million will be a part of the cap for the Lions this year, which will take them from 55 to 80 million. This from Ari Mayroff, my sports update. You know we love Ari here. The NFL informed teams today that the 2025 salary cap will be roughly $277.5 to $281.5 per Dan Graziano of ESPN. It's the increase of $22.1 million and up. And this is another cap. Appreciate you. Pete's always on it with the graphics, man. Great job by you.
You got it, my
And this is the cap by season the last 10 years and how it's gone up. And you see the numbers are climbing. And that's why when people talk about, oh, these games are bad or oh, this and it's about money. Money is being made. Bringing me back to my point, part of the reason why we don't want Myles Garrett or Max Crosby or one of these players is setting the cap back, setting the picks back. Every year the cap is now going up. Does this extra $25 million of salary cap space, does this move the needle on you at all as it relates to bringing in one of those potential guys before the draft?
No.
Okay.
And Stick and I actually talked about it.
And it doesn't have to be extensive conversation.
Well, but the last 2 days, I want to bring you up to where we've been talking about, up to speed, and that is the Myles Garrett versus the Chase Young debate. Chase Young, 25 years old, going to be on the market. When we talked on Tuesday before this information came out about the increased salary cap, we kind of put about a number of about $9-10 million.
I can't believe he's only 25.
I know
Yep.
so when we were talking about
I can't
that,
believe he's only 25. It seems like he went to Ohio State 8-9 years ago.
I know,
right?
and that's what we thought. We were kind of both, Stick and I were on the mindset of 28 years old-ish. And, when I found that he was 25, Stick kind of moved off his position a little bit, but he was still all in on Myles Garrett. Now, the next day, we realized we're getting $22 extra million.
Yeah.
So let's say that increases. That's going to increase the amount of money that Chase asked for. So we'll just put a number at $12 million. Now, if we go out and sign this 25-year-old player, and we know that this regime has been able to get a lot out of their players, guys that weren't quite what they wanted to be, or guys that they drafted that might have, Kirby Joseph that we've just seen rise year after year. If these guys pick him, it's because they know he can fit into this system. You give up no draft picks for him. You're paying half of what you'd have to pay for any of these other guys, even less, and you get to control the amount of years. You can go 1, you can go 2, you can go 3, but again, you are not taking away the tools that these guys have used masterfully to take the Lions from the most maligned franchise in Super Bowl era history.
Sports history.
Yeah, there you go.
Sports
into
history.
One of the best in the NFL right now. So for me, give them those picks. Let them do their damage in the draft. But then we can go out and get this guy. And everybody's forgetting about Z. All right, Z faced a lot of double teams. He had no Aleem McNeil. He had no Onwuzurike towards the end of the year. And, of course, he had no Hutch. When you bring in a guy like Chase Young for $10-12 million, and now you've got a rotation between those three on the edges, draft a big D tackle at the end of the first round, and you get a little bit of time for Aleem to come back mid-season. Now all of a sudden you've got something that was a weakness for this team last year in their defensive line, and now it becomes a deep strength for them.
I see that impactful conversation at 3 o'clock is on your mind because I heard you say Big Ten. Before I get to Pete Spivak, you make a good point, and I feel like we've glossed over big number 99 for the Detroit Lions. I feel like because of what we didn't achieve last year in terms of even getting to the NFC Championship, it's easy to sit here and be like, oh, well, 99, he was supposed to come in here and do this. He never was supposed to be 97.
Correct.
Big Z was never supposed to come in here and be Myles Garrett. He never was supposed to come in here and be what Aiden Hutchinson was about to become this year. He was brought in so that he could be a piece mixed in with DJ Reader, mixed in with Aleem Mill, mixed in with these guys. Aleem McNeil gets hurt. You don't have that. It makes it tougher for him because if you're an offensive line, just slide to Zadarius Smith's side. It makes it that much easier. So what can he be with Aiden Hutchinson, with Aleem, with DJ Reader? Bring back Carlton Davis if that's what the plan is, and then Terry and Arnold year 2 get better, and then Kirby as well as Brian Branch. Maybe that can be something. Peace by that.
I agree with you, Brandon. And again, I really have to defer a lot. I learned so much from you, working with you. And I've also had the fortunate time of working with Mark Spindler. I mean, working around these NFL guys, you learn so much more about the game. And Bray, you've said it before, how systems really can change players. We sort of saw it this year with Sam Darnold over in a different system in Minnesota about how he's progressed. And a lot of the comments here in the chat, which I am seeing here, Chase Young is a me guy. Chase Young is a problem. Chase Young is not this or that, not that. Maybe a place like the Lions under Kelvin Shepard is a place where Chase Young will be able to come into his own, and you get him at a discounted price. I'm an F them picks guy. I'm all on board with what Ryan Ermanni says in regards to how we need to give everything we can to get Myles Garrett. We need to have the opposite edge for Hutch. That is a definite, and I think that this place with Kelvin Shepard might be a good place for Chase Young to reestablish his career and possibly improve upon what has not been the best start for him.
Let me add just a little bit onto that because I really want to hear your response.
Yeah.
Chase Young goes to a terrible Washington Commies football team, Redskins, whatever you want to call it.
Playoffs first year.
Terrible ownership, right?
Yeah.
And then he gets traded midseason to San Francisco. Then he goes to a completely upside-down Saints team. So, you look at a guy who hasn't reached his potential, but he's had 3 stops in his rookie contract. This could be that home where he explodes and somebody taps in. Dan and Brad figure it out for him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm on the side of the chat in the initial, and I'll get to that. It's interesting. The conversation around Chase Young is interesting. He's been a me guy since Ohio State. He was a me guy with the Washington Commanders. That's why they didn't have a problem letting him go, especially after the injury. But what you see on tape, year one, like he was a man-child, 11 and a half sacks, he was led all rookies, rookie defensive player of the year. Then he comes back, he gets injured, and then he goes out to the 49ers, and he wasn't necessarily the guy they thought they were going to bring in. He didn't make the difference. And then he goes to New Orleans. Like, once again, he's 25 years old. To your point, you're bringing him into a system where, I'll tell you from experience, once you move from team 1 to team 3, and now you're starting to do the math in your head like, okay, well, I got drafted here. This was the team that drafted me. This is where my leverage really was. Then I got moved out to the 49ers. All right, well, yeah, I'm still doing good. This is the team. And then I go to the Saints, and then I don't necessarily have a really big year. And then the Saints don't make it to the playoffs. And now you're going to be on the 4th team. It's, all right, maybe there are some things about me that need to change. Maybe my attitude, maybe my preparation for the season. You know who's on the team, and this may be his last year for the Lions, but he's still on the team. He's left tackle. Last time I checked, didn't Taylor Decker play at Ohio State? Wouldn't Taylor Decker have been a captain when Chase Young was a sophomore?
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh.
So now you have that with the locker room. Dan Campbell, a meathead, much like Chase Young, a meathead. But Dan Campbell's much more than that, and maybe he can bring out who Chase Young. It might be something, but here and again, are you grasping at, for lack of a better word, the lost and found? You know how you go to lost and found? It's like, shoot, I need. Who's a bowler in here? You know, lost and found, right? So you know you can go lost and found, or tile, something lost and found. Are you trying to get that powder ball out of the lost and found with Chase Young when you really should be trying to put in a fresh new penny?
Well, and let's talk about the lost and found here for the Detroit Lions since Dan and Brad have been here. Alex Anzalone.
Okay,
Lost and found
that's
guy.
true. Lost and found.
Lost and found guy. CD Deuce came in for 1 year, and he wasn't impactful here.
But he was he was a number 2 free agent that year, so that's not lost and found.
Well, and I get that, but he was a maligned guy. He was a guy that left Philly and torched him. He left Detroit and torched him. Carlton Davis, another guy that had some injuries but also had won a Super Bowl, and they're like, okay, well, maybe this guy can come here.
Yeah.
They've tried a lot of them, whether it's Davenport, whether it's Mosley. Some didn't work out. But they've shown a track record that they're willing to do this. For me, a 2-year by $12 million contract, prove it. Go out there and prove it. Stick said it yesterday. He's not fully on board. He likes the Myles Garrett talk. But yesterday, when he saw the salary cap go up, all of a sudden he was like, okay, well, now I'm kind of 50-50. But the thing that puts him over the top is if Dan and Brad believe that he's the player for this team, we're all in because it's Dan and Brad we trust.
This is true. And Myles, not Myles, but Chase Young at one point, man, he was a hell of a player. So, maybe this could be another prove-it-year deal. And there is something to prove-it-year deals. The two people that you also brought in, you said, Alex Anzalone, 100%.
Tim Patrick?
100%. Okay, then there's validity.
Monty, kind of?
Okay, yes. 100%. Those are check marks.
Zeitler?
Come
on, he's hurt, man.
Pro Bowl guy.
We don't want him here in Seattle. You go ahead and test the waters.
Baltimore. Pro Bowl guy, though.
Is that
Baltimore.
Right?
He came from Baltimore. Pro Bowl guy, though. And actually, not this past season, the year before when he was in Baltimore, that was his best season that he had. So
I thought he was hurt the year before that he came to us.
He made the Pro Bowl that year.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe the year before that. But
is Jared Goff lost and found, or is he like a dog that was exchanged or sent to the pound and then we adopted him?
That was just the Stafford trade. Now it's the Stafford Goff trade.
Right.
So that's what I was going to say, because of what that deal, that it was a huge deal between two organizations. But I like what you just said. It used to be the Matt Stafford trade. Now you look at it, it's like, oh, yeah, that's where Stafford went to L.A. and Goff came to Detroit.
You know my favorite lost and found team?
Okay, give it.
Ben Wallace. Nobody wants Chauncey Billups, right? Y'all don't want Chauncey Billups. Come on, let's move Rip Hamilton. He's our first round pick.
Rasheed's a cancer.
Rasheed's a cancer.
Rasheed's a cancer. Get him out of here.
Don't want him in here. I mean, Mike James, he's not an NBA player, Lindsey Hunter was literally a throw-in into Rasheed deal, and then And they cut him, and we brought him back. I mean, Corliss Williamson was an afterthought. We don't want him. Come on, man. Get out of here.
He's on one of the greatest national championship teams of all time that doesn't get talked about. 90 feet of hell. Nolan Richardson and Arkansas
That was
Razorbacks.
all Bill Clinton. It was all Bill Clinton.
He was there at the game. I remember that.
I was a Michigan fan at the time, man.
Yeah.
I was a Michigan fan, staunch.
Was that 96? 94.
Well, no. Yeah, 94. Because 92 they lost, 93 they lost, and then 94 they got beat, wasn't they, grade 8 or something?
Yeah.
And that was after Mr. Weber had left Ann Arbor.
He left the building, 100%.
Shout out Jalen Rose for holding it down.
Side note, you brought up Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups drafted to this the Boston Celtics in 90. He was a part of the 1996 draft, the greatest draft ever. I was listening to Antoine Walker. Finally someone made sense. Antoine Walker was talking about when Rick Pitino got rid of Chauncey Billups. I always wondered why he got after 40 games, they traded Chauncey.
Mid-season.
His rookie year, they traded him. And
he was
said,
the number 2 pick or 3? Something like that?
he was like 13 or 14.
No.
No,
Top
6.
3.
Yeah.
No, he's top 3. I'm going to show you right now. You keep talking.
He's a year before. In that case, he's a year before what I'm talking about. But yeah.
Duncan's draft year.
I always thought he was cold. I'm like, I don't know why they got rid of him so early. He said Rick Pitino didn't know what he was doing. Look, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we got some more to talk about this.
Number 3 overall.
3 overall. Oh, look at that. See, Anson, I appreciate
Keith
when I'm
Van
wrong.
Horn, number 2, I think.
Oh,
Keith
that was
Van
90.
Horn,
That's a different
wow.
year then. I had the wrong class. That's what I mean.
97 he came out.
Anson got the
when
names,
we come
boy.
back, I'll have some more info.
100%. We'll come back, but first let's get a message from Les Stanford.
Listen, I'm going to talk about zero security deposit, zero due at signing, zero first payment, zero acquisition fee. These are the staples of the Les Stanford Sign and Drive sale. Get yourself into a 25 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation for only $249, or the 2024 Envision for only $239, or step up to that brand new Hummer EV SUV for only $789 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory at that Sign and Drive sale. Les Stanford Buick and GMC. LesStanford.com.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at LesStanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
That boy's in shape right there. You know what? Anson's probably that fast because he works out of Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. With over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations, man, this is the gym for you, man. Look, I feel good. I'm in shape. That's because I go to Planet Fitness and they don't judge me. I work out on my own tune. There's a clean gym. In fact, there's a squeaky clean gym. And you know what? Whatever membership you get, because fitness does fit into their budget as well as yours, trainer comes with it. So simply put, no judgment. Planet Fitness is the place for you.
Planet Fitness is the reason he's looking 32 instead of 40.
Appreciate it. You know, I'm still proud of the guns.
Yeah,
the guns
dude.
still there, you know.
Which way's the bathroom?
I think the band. Yeah, Joe Madness.
Donde está el baño?
Anson, what was your favorite birthday? And because it's too broad, too many years, same for me. Give me 3 quick ones. Pause.
My 8th grade birthday party was awesome.
8th grade would be when you are 14, getting ready for high school.
Indeed.
12.
Okay.
29 was pretty great.
What made 29 pretty great?
A combo of like the friend group and the girlfriend at the time.
Okay.
Not shouting her out.
Yeah.
I'm not shouting you out. And then like the whirlwind of the last 15 that I've been throwing parties for.
Yeah.
Everywhere from the Annex to 350 to Manjin Lao to the Works. Rest in peace, the Works.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know you remember.
Munjin Lao. I almost hit Brandon. Shout out to Brandon and Brian Chin from Munjin
No
Lao.
doubt.
I almost, and it's funny, one with the State, one with the Michigan, but I almost hit them up to go next Wednesday. I haven't been to Munjin Lao on Stevenson Highway in years. This is free promotion, but whatever. I have not been there in years. I almost hit those guys
Well,
up.
I got my birthday part. I got my birthday weekend coming in April, so we're starting on Manjin Lao Wednesday. Players on Thursday, and then I got a little shindig at a place called Red Door Digital with some wild DJs. So it should be a good time. I'm gonna try and get you through at least one.
And for sure, like two of those are right up my alley. Peace
a good one.
Talk about yourself, man. Give me 2 to 3 birthdays that you remember.
Well, being the older, I think I'm the elder statesman here. Ricky, I'm 50. You're 35, right?
He's a baby
35.
here, man.
So
Yeah, me and Ricky are
and being the
babies
elder
in here.
statesman here, I wish I was 42, Bray. I remember, I was fortunate to my mom and my dad used to like to go to the it's downtown, I'm blanking, guys, the London Chop House. We used to like to go to, my parents used to go to
okay.
London Chop House back in the day, like late 70s, early 80s. And one of the things that they used to do for your birthday is they would, everybody smoked still back in the day, so matchbooks would have like your name on it and your birthday and all that sort of stuff. And so I was always admiring that when my parents would bring me as like a little 5. So my 6-year-old birthday was London Chop House, and I had the matchbooks and everything. I still have them, so that was a great birthday. Then turning 28 on, because I'm December 28th, so when I turned 28 on the 28th,
So
that
that's
was
called your golden birthday year, I think. I've only learned that through my girl and her kids. Like it's called the golden birthday year. Your date or your day and the actual age when they sync.
I didn't
It's
know
called
that.
the golden year.
I like that. No, I didn't know that. So
missed
that
mine.
was a good one. And then typical turning 21, man.
Okay.
Just just going out with the guys and purposely flashing the ID, saying, "Yeah, look, I'm 21. Go to hell, bouncer."
Speaking
Let
of the
me
golden year, I turned 21 on the 21st.
Oh, so that was your
February,
golden.
so that was a cool golden year. Not to be confused with golden something else. Golden
Right.
year, ladies and gentlemen. What you got for me, Ricky?
When you first asked the question, I'm trying to think, like, I used to be one of those dudes that didn't really celebrate his birthday.
Okay.
I'm not like that now. I was thinking about the most memorable, and I was thinking when I turned 26, I got my dream job I wanted in high school, which was to run WJLB. Literally on my 26th birthday, I got to move. It was like on my birthday, I moved back down to Detroit from Flint to get that. So that was good. It didn't work out, but that was all right. Then the other one I was thinking of, I think it was 22. I had the day off from work. I was doing radio on Flint, and my girl was all excited. I didn't know that she had something planned. So then my boss actually booked me to work, and she got mad. So I'm sitting there thinking she's mad at me. So we had this whole argument. I'm like, I got to work. I got to pay bills, blah, blah, blah. So the day I go into work, I walk out. They call me out of the studio. I walk out, and my best friend had flew in and surprised me. So my best friend just walked. Imagine you at work, and I'm thinking my best friend just walks up to me with a cake, and everybody celebrated happy birthday.
And doesn't even live there.
Bad.
Wow.
I felt so bad. I'm like, oh, this is why you were mad. I had to work, but it's cool. I got to kick with my boys all night. It was a good. It was the first time I ever been surprised on my birthday. So that was a good, memorable one.
All right,
Braylon, your favorite?
So mine's always stays the same. Like I cheat. Like we've all had really
Please
good,
clarify that.
We've all had really good birthdays. It's gonna make sense.
Right.
It's gonna make a lot of sense. We've all had really good birthdays, whether you celebrate it or not. Somebody celebrated you. It's too many to count. So I go by the moments, right? What were those moments? My second birthday party was Mr. T. And for years, I thought that was real Mr. T because my dad introduced me to so many celebs along the way because he played in the league. So I met, you name it, I met as a kid, met Michael Jordan as a kid, and the list goes on. So I thought this was the real Mr. T at my house. So for years, I carried that, no, this was him. This was Hannibal. You know, like, this is Hannibal's boy, B.A. Baracus. No, it was not. And I found out years later. But
Just Jeff.
But that memory always sticks, that Mr. T. And
dope.
Rocky's my favorite show. I'm like Ryan and
dope.
Maz. Like, Rocky's my favorite series. So 2 years old, Mr. T. 16 years old, got a PlayStation. PlayStation 1, probably my favorite video game that I ever received as a gift. PlayStation 2 is my favorite, but I bought that with my own money. PlayStation 1, parents got it for me, and then I had like this big party at the house. My parents weren't big into having people over for me, you know, old school family. Like, nah,
Same.
Same. You get it.
I had like two friends that came to my house.
That's the black families. Like, look, you get two friends.
like
we
two.
can't trust more than that.
Right.
But they allowed a lot of people to come over, and then they allowed some people to stay the night. So that was like, and then the third one, it's always my next birthday. So that's how, to answer your question, I keep the same three.
I like
Good
that.
answer, man.
Thanks,
Next
OG. I need something
I
like that in my
appreciate
life.
that. Yo, it's
He said
the
your
next birthday.
You're right.
Next birthday is always the best birthday, but those are the two memories that I'm going to go ahead and lock in.
I like that.
That's
So,
good
no,
stuff,
I just wanted to
Braylon.
go around. And in the chat, feel free. I commented in the chat just a second ago, man. Tell me you guys' favorite birthday, Anson and Pete.
Yes.
You guys tally those up a little bit and
You
read
got it,
them
buddy.
as we go. Let's dive into some good news. Let's start with J-Mo will not face any NFL discipline. Jumping to the Detroit Lions, which I know you guys care about deeply. This is from our friend Dave Burkett. Jameson Williams won't face any NFL discipline for carrying an unlicensed gun from the fall. But the Detroit Lions wide receiver in the big offseason looming as he's eligible for contract extension or at least having his fifth-year option exercised. So first of all, this is good. We knew this is probably going to be the case. We knew it was dismissed, so shout out to Jameson Williams, the Lions, and NFL following the right protocol. With that being said, it was the second part of that conversation that was very interesting. Jameson Williams, drafted player, a drafted hurt player, only played 3 games his rookie year, not a lot of time. Second year, some instances and some things occur. And through that year, you see the maturation start to happen. Really big NFC Championship game, although it was a loss. Third year, finally has cracked 1,000 yards, finally showed you the consistency, and you saw the defense's threat level go up when Jameson Williams was in the game. Do you take the option at 5, or do you extend for cheap before the season starts? Anson, you're on the clock.
They have so much tied up in their offense. Moving forward, they're going to have to give more money to guys. They don't have enough money spent on defense at this point, and it showed once the playoffs came around. I think you have to extend him, and he's got to stay out of trouble, period. This is one of Detroit's favorite sons at this point.
Yeah.
You know, the footage of him being down where he's at and being embraced and where he feels most comfortable. I love that stuff. I honestly wouldn't have a problem with a couple more issues. Might keep his price down because I don't want to lose the kid. But at this point right now, I would imagine that the Lions probably take a shot on a big-bodied 6'3" type receiver late in this draft, maybe 4th round, and just see what they can hit with. And it gives them some more options when this kid comes up. I don't believe that this team, this regime, is going to extend him right now without taking that option first. And it could certainly backfire. But, I've been seeing a lot of things like, how do you grade Laporta? Did Laporta take a step back? No. You've got 2 guys that are vying for the ball that are already behind in a vicious run game and one of the premier wide receivers in the league. So when you look at these two guys, listen, if you see more than 7 touchdowns for one guy, being Laporta or Jamo, one year, you're probably going to see it flip-flop the next year. Both these guys are going to be around 800 to 1,000 yards. And I just don't see an opportunity without injury for either of these guys to just ascend to that 1,200, 1,400 yard marker, or even 10-plus touchdowns. Maybe you get a lucky year where the touchdown deodorant is there and Laporta gets another double-digit season. But listen, the way that this team is set up, he's always going to be a secondary or third option. I love what he does to opposing defensive coordinators' heads because they're not sleeping before they come in to see the Lions. But as great and dynamic as he is, we will most likely see another team make a big overpay for this kid, and he probably won't be a Lion in year 6. And I know that people don't like to hear that, but it's just simply a business.
Ricky, I come to you. What do you think? Do the Lions need to extend Amon-Ra before this season? Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Jameson Williams.
Okay, I was about to say, I'm lost. I thought we were talking about J-Mo.
No, we talking about J-Mo.
Just take the first 1 year. I only say that because I know he had a decent year. But he can't stay out of trouble, man. He's got to show me he can stay out of trouble, stop getting stupid penalties. I think we should just take the 1 year. We shouldn't extend it.
Okay, I like it. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, Pete. Are you keeping it simple, or are you making this pulling the trigger?
Well, I tell you what, it's a very good conversation, Bray, and I really appreciate the question on this one, man. This is a good topic because, our friend of the show, Brian Baldinger, we play those highlights. I've brought it up before, Bray, and you being a receiver, you actually, I think, if I remember correctly, you also like these comments that that were made as well about how Jameson runs routes and he opens up the field so well because of how good of a route runner that he is. So the value that he has in the field is not just with catching balls. It's what he does to help spread the offense out, create opportunities for other people. That's extremely important, especially when you're trying to win Super Bowls. I mean, if you're trying to win Super Bowls, you want to make the defenses nervous, and he makes defenses nervous, and that's the guy that you need to value, and that's the guy that needs to be locked down. I'm not saying that extending a we all want to do things the cheap way, I think, Bray. Yeah. But this is a kid that I think really honestly needs, regardless of his off-field things or not. We can talk about that all day. For me, I don't care about that. What's he doing on the field to help the team win? And so far, so good. And I think that this kid deserves at least a good, solid 4-year deal coming up here, at least until he's 28 years old. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the conversation, and 100%. I'll give you my opinion after I read some of the chat. Shout out to the chat. Chat has some great conversations in here. Actually, somebody told me that their birthday is coming up. I want to say it's Anakin Sky Ogre. Yep. So happy 18th birthday coming up. Wow, I remember my 18th birthday some years ago.
I barely remember it.
Mike G in the chat. Shout out to Mike G, the OG, the captain of the chat. He's always funny. Keep the jokes coming, as you see. But everybody in the chat is really wanting to extend J-Mo, and I think that's what I'm aligned with. I think you extend him now. I think the price tag won't be expensive because of the things that have happened. I think if he's making, $20 million a year, I think that's a conversation you can have with J-Mo, sit him down, and he'll be fine with that. I think there's a way to extend him in a shorter period so he gets some money in his pocket early. You're not handicapped to him. You look at what that team was able to do when you have speed like that, when you have J-Mo starting to come into his own. It made Amon-Ra St. Brown, once the season really got going, that much more dangerous. It made Jahmyr Gibbs that much more dangerous. Towards the end of the year, you saw Sam Laporta start to have some success in moments. I think a lot of that is centered around the speed of number 9, and I think having 2 wide receivers, you're going to have 2 stud wide receivers at this day and age. This is the NFL that we're given. Look at the you don't believe me? Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. They had 15, and they couldn't do anything because they didn't have those wide receivers. Right. Look at the Eagles. They have Devontae Smith locked up. Yeah. They have A.J. Brown locked up. I think getting J-Mo for a steal with money going up and ways to push deals back for other guys, I just think it's smart to extend them because Amon-Ra and J-Mo, for me, are attached at the hip.
So I don't hate that. Yeah. 2 years ago, I was coming in on Thursdays to the heavyweights.
And there's 25 extra million.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there will be another
22. But yes.
Well, next year it'll be enough. So
yeah,
it's
for sure. So I came in on Thursdays for the heavyweights 2 years ago, And this was before the 2023 football season. And I basically said, hey, before the 2024 season, I told everybody that we needed to re-sign Jared Goff. And I believe it was 2 years ago now. Time flies. But we would have gotten a big discount on Jared Goff versus what we ended up having to pay him. So I'm not totally against this move. You threw out a number of $20 million. That puts him right around the $20 million mark. I'm going to tell you a couple other wide receivers that are in that area. T. Higgins, $21 million. Mike Evans, $20. Keenan Allen, $20. Mari Cooper, $20. Godwin, $20. And the model citizen, Deontay Johnson, at about $19.
Yeah.
So it puts him in company that I could compare him to. Most of those names that we mentioned outside of T. Higgins are on the downside of their career at 30 or older. If you can get him at 20 or less, I'm not totally against that. I think, though, the problem is
money goes up naturally. So my 20 realistically is 22 and a half, let's say.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I guess one of the things you mentioned is that this guy didn't play for this team his first year. 3 games, right? And the strength of the way that these guys are building this team is they're able to pluck premier players and have them under contract on that low rookie scale for 4 or 5 years. So if you extend this guy, you're basically only getting 3 years out of him at that rookie scale. Obviously, it jumps a little bit in that 5th-year option.
So you're pay the option and keep it rolling and see what happens next year.
And I think that, part of what
dare him to be great, if you will.
Well, dare him to stay out of trouble. Yeah. Because
That's fair.
He is great. And for all the reasons you guys mentioned, from his speed to what he does to defensive coordinators, to his blocking downfield, to his absolute embracing of the city of Detroit and the Lions. But if this guy goes out and something silly happens and he misses 4 games and you've extended him, now you're going to have a lot of upset fans. And who knows, you could have a Josh Gordon. I don't want to compare him to Josh Gordon, even though I love me some Josh Gordon. But that's the same type of deal that you could have with this kid, where all of a sudden, 2 years into this extension, you miss a whole season of him. Yeah. If he stays out of trouble for a whole other year, you can still extend him. But you get that, you're able to kind of utilize that lower salary.
It's like a probationary period almost.
100%.
Josh Gordon, and I agree with you, the only thing with Josh Gordon was marijuana and banned substances, and that thing was continuous throughout. That hasn't been J-Mo. And also, how many games did J-Mo miss last season?
2.
He missed 2? How many missed the year before?
Good question.
4?
Was it 4? Yeah. So, I mean,
so it's going down.
So 1 this next season.
No. If it go by the numbers, it's 0. 4 to 2.
4 to 2 to 1 to 0.
No, 4 to 2 is half.
Okay, hey, 2 things can
2
be
is
true at
half
the
of
same
4,
time.
1 is half of 2. So that's the proper math.
Well, technically it was 6. They went to 4. Now what? Now what are we doing? Side note, let's deviate just for 2 seconds. Shout out to Tommy K, whose birthday is today. Tommy K, happy birthday.
Tommy
my
K.
Pisces brother, almost my twin, just off by a day. Actually, my birthday is at 12:34 a.m., so I almost was born on the 20th, same day as you, so appreciate you for tuning in. And I didn't see it. I kind of missed it. I'm new to the chat and hosting at the same time, so happy birthday to Tommy K, one of the great members of the World Sports Chat. But, yeah, so 0 is what I was getting at. But interesting conversation.
I hope you're right.
To your point, it could be, just do the option. Pay the option. He's earned that part. And then, this is a trial. That's what the Lions have been. They've shown that with each individual they bought in here or drafted, it's a trial period. And I think J-Mo operates under the trial period. Still had some things last year. It's getting better, and you expect more from him this year. But to expect more isn't to necessarily believe it's going to exactly happen. So maybe paying the option would be the smart move on J-Mo, because you got a lot of fish to fry. And maybe J-Mo could be, option.
I just think there's priorities on this team to extend before a guy that's missed 6 games over the last 2 years because of his own personal conduct. I do not want to denigrate J-Mo. J-Mo is absolutely one of my favorite Detroit players that we've had ever in my lifetime, because he does it right on the field, but he also loves Detroit, and not the downtown Detroit, the 6 Mile Detroit. So I'm all for that. All for a guy like that.
100%. We keep having this conversation, and we just did a second ago. Myles Garrett coming to the team. Is it too much money? Or the other side of that conversation was, would it become his team? Is that why we're hesitant? Because it's 97's team, and we expect 97 to be the TJ Watt, the JJ Watt, the insert Micah Parsons type player here. Well, here's Aiden Hutchinson talking about the potential to play with Myles Garrett.
Hey, I mean, Myles, if me and Myles were to pair up, that would be deadly.
I don't know if we've seen anything like it.
I know. I was talking to him. We were at the honors, and we were just talking about what could be, and although it's probably unlikely, I think I would be thrilled to play next to him if it were to happen. But yeah, I mean, our whole D line would be like just totally elevated, and we would. That'd be a scary defensive line, and we get along too. I think I've seen him these last few years at different things. He texted me after I got hurt, which I don't know, it was just a cool thing. Like guys outside of your own team who reach out to you. I think so. I think he's a good dude, and if he does, great. But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. But that would be awesome.
That would be.
And we want to thank what is it? The squeeze. You know what? Okay, I was looking at that as rhetoric in the conversation. We appreciate the squeeze on YouTube. So a lot of the individuals that cheer for the Lions fans, they're worried about the dynamic. Is it going to be this? Does it come his team? You heard it from Aiden Hutchinson himself. He's looking at it more if a potential move as an individual that he's talked to via phone, he's shared conversations with, he's seen in person. He also sees how great a player Myles Garrett is. And now he's watched. He's watched from last year when he played and the defense just wasn't quite there. This year, to where defense was injured, but still some learning curves, he'd be welcome to the move. Is this just player speak, or is this something that's really going on behind the scenes?
I think that's nothing but
player
fan speak
gotcha.
To be quite honest with you, because I don't want to insult Hutchinson by comparing him to LeBaby, but Luka's not in L.A. right now saying this is my team. He knows whose team that is. Hutchinson, this is a Michigan guy. I mean, he's absolutely embraced. He was the star of Hard Knocks, and he was on his way to a Defensive Player of the Year, period. There's no debate. Yeah. So I think that Myles, coming from Cleveland, you might speak on this. He's just happy to get the hell out of there. When you went to New York, did you think, hey, this is my team?
No.
Exactly. So
but to that point, I knew I was the best wide receiver on the team.
Sure.
But the other part of it is what Aiden alluded to. I was the best wide receiver on the team. I knew that, but I knew that I had escaped.
Yeah.
Okay, I escaped Cleveland, so it had nothing to do with me being the best wide receiver on the team. I was so happy to be in a place that the vibe was winning, where people cared. Like, even I was cool with the like the chefs, the kitchen staff. Like I always say, the training staff, even the janitors. Who think the janitor recently, or the oh my God, what did we just watch championship wise?
Saquon Barkley and the Water Boy.
Saquon, the guy in the studio, he bought a car to, not the studio, but the janitor.
Did you see the video of him on the parade? He sees like one of their water boys, goes over, hugs him, and pulls him out and walks with him in the parade.
Let's just stick with that. Like that's how I was with the Jets. I was like, no, everybody's cool, but everybody was. And so when you come to a whole new environment, like, you're just excited to be in an environment. And I looked up, the environment cared about winning. So then I was able to sacrifice everything. Like I didn't care if there was a game where they didn't pass me the ball, because the game isn't catch touchdowns, the game is win. And I think once you see that in a situation, in an organization, that's not the case, when you get to one of those, i.e. Myles Garrett, to whatever team he comes to next, like Myles knows he's the best player, but he knows it ain't about that. It's about W's, and I use ain't for a fact.
And I think it's perfectly comparable to what happened to you. You guys both languished with a franchise that had no interest in truly winning. Literally. When I think about an offensive line and a defensive line, I don't think Penei Sewell's out there, I'm the best offensive lineman out of the 5. I don't think that. I think that they want to maul every single defense they face.
When you are, you don't have to say it.
And the defensive line on the other side of that coin, they don't care who gets the sack. They want to just absolutely harass that quarterback all 60 minutes. And when you add some more guys in there, it doesn't matter. Like, obviously, Hutch wants his double-digit sacks, and Myles Garrett wants his double-digit sacks. But if you win a championship and you each have 8 sacks, and a quarterback after quarterback, week after week, are on the run and on their backs, you've been doing your job. So I think that it's all fan speak. There's so much. I mean, it's such a polarizing subject right now. People want the trade. They don't want the trade. They're worried about the contract. Can he fit? Why is he going here? What's the cost? It just comes down to the fit and getting out of where he is. He's going to be happy to go anywhere. If he comes to the Lions, he'll be ecstatic. Some people will be upset because of the capital we gave up, but at the end of the day, if we get 20-plus sacks out of those two guys and we're one of the best pass rush teams in the league, it'll all be a good thing.
It all, yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that one, Anson. But again, like I was saying, to you guys earlier, I'm with Ryan Ermanni and the F them picks things regarding Myles Garrett because of how dangerous he is. And also, Braylon, you also mentioned something very interesting. I think it was on Monday. You guys have to remember that Myles Garrett is extremely hungry for a Super Bowl title. And if you're bringing in not only a very, very talented man, but a very talented and determined, maybe / angry man who really wants to just, take that Super Bowl trophy away from you, I'd be willing to pay any price to get a gladiator like that on my team. And you make a good point, Anson, because they have to find some way to get 97, some help on that side. And once they do, and they get the bookends together, and you all of a sudden cannot run on the Lions, it's over. I'll see you at the Super Bowl parade. We'll have 2 days of fun, because that's what's going to happen once you can do what you need to do to get Myles Garrett. And if Hutch is all in, man, it sounds like they have a good relationship, too, from what he said on the squeeze from YouTube.
I think if Za'Darius started this past season with the Lions instead of Marcus Davenport, none of us would be clamoring for Myles Garrett, to be quite honest with you. And I know he's a future Hall of Famer and a stud, premier defender in the league, but I truly believe a healthy line, you wouldn't be clamoring for this guy right now.
Yeah, to your point, you don't clamor for what you don't need. That's true. NFL franchise tag period is open till March 4th. Does that do anything for anybody in here?
Kirby Joseph could happen. Kirby Joseph could happen.
One. Fair enough. Number 1 ranked safety this year by Pro Football Focus.
Ziggy Ansah was the last tagged Lions player back in 2018.
2013?
2018.
18, I'm sorry. Yep. 13 was his first.
Yes. 13 was his first.
Okay.
2018, yes.
So, Kirby Joseph. Yeah, that's a really good one. Going safety market would probably be somewhere around, 15? 15 a year?
Up to 18, I would say the highest.
Okay. Projected franchise and transition tenders. Here we go by Ted Seth. Still so funny that the NFL lumped
17-1.
Okay, I wasn't too far off. Mr. 17-5, that's what they used to call me. So funny that the NFL lumps in outside linebackers, edge rushers, to linebacker franchise tag.
They got him at 15.5.
The possibility of any off-ball linebacker getting tagged.
Yep. So that's just what
you were right on
prices
with
are for position.
Holy, yeah. Oh, transition tag.
Yep.
22.
Now, I think these numbers do change with the changing of the NFL salary cap as well. So add $20 million to those.
Well, no, that's when the 2025 projected. When did that come out?
Yeah, that was from yesterday. So so it would include. Yeah, so it's all actually those numbers are good.
Because I'm looking at it here and it's a little bit old and it jumped from 17 to 19. So that's that percentage right there.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that should be good, and that goes through March 4th.
Yep. Kirby Joseph, definitely a name to watch out for the March 4th. But then again, it goes back to who Brad Holmes has been. He's shown us, if you get drafted by me, if you do what we expect or think you're going to do, we're going to reward you. So that would go against what Brad Holmes has done. Because to franchise him, now I have to have a conversation as Kirby Joseph. You didn't franchise Amon-Ra. You didn't franchise Penei Sewell. Now that leads into something else. So it'll be interesting.
Well, and with him, it's a guy that led the league in interceptions.
Yeah.
If he comes back and he does that again,
even if he's third,
you pay him.
Yeah.
But if he comes back and has a 2 or 3, now his tag or his number comes down, maybe you still sign him.
Yeah.
You let him test free agency. There's a lot of question marks for this team and the salary cap after this season. So anybody that you can kind of sneak through, and then reassess after we win a Super Bowl,
Yeah.
that's the way to go, I think.
Speaking of reassessing, speaking of the Super Bowl, Pete, why don't you tell us about Caesar, how you can make bets today or even futures if you want to, because the Lions winning the Super Bowl in 2026 might be a pretty hot ticket.
And we also, on the rundown there, there's a certain Pistons fan in the area who's been making some bets as well. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later. But you guys out there, you can scan that QR code above my head and use the code word Woodward1000 to open up your brand new Caesar Sportsbook account. When you do, deposit at least $20. Make a first bet of $20 or more. If that first bet happens to lose, you'll get that first bet back as a bonus bet up to $1,000, but only if you scan the QR code above my head and use the code word Woodward1000 to get your brand new Caesar Sportsbook account. Team USA playing Team Canada tonight. Get those bets in, baby. We'll be right back.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
Let's give it up for David Tully, everybody. David Tully. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Head to woodwardsports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. Woodwardsports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at woodwardsports.com.
Taking the chore out of getting your hair cut since 2004. That is Lady Jane's. Let their talented stylists deliver that industry-leading haircut. Sit back and relax with the scalp massage, the hot leather neck shave, and, of course, the hot towel treatment. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Now, I saw this back wall, which will be on the back wall. I saw the story yesterday. It was a post from Swanky Wolverine, who actually, I like a lot of his posts. You know what I'm saying? We've actually had a conversation. He's pretty good at what he does. For what anyone does, there's always a level of, it's an opinion, there's disagreement. I saw this one, I thought this was interesting. Let me know what you think about this. He put out a list that says top 10 most impactful Michigan athletes since 2000. My first year at Michigan was 2001. Look at the list, ladies and gentlemen.
He threw that in.
Aiden Hutchinson, number 1. Blake Corum, number 2. Trey Burke, Denard Robinson, Jake Long, number 1 overall in 2008. Chad Henne, my quarterback, that I would still argue had a better career at Michigan than J.J. McCarthy, but that's stats, not necessarily opinion. Nick Stauskas, Boy, that boy can shoot the 3 ball. Shout out to Canada, who we hope to crush tonight. Mike Hart, my little brother, who famed the Comet. Little brother. Nas Hillman, who had an amazing career. 2007, I want to say 18, 19, 20, 21. Basketball squads. He won 2 Big Ten championships. I think she was Player of the Year one of those years in the Big Ten. And then number 10, Sierra Romero, famed softball player who finished as USA Player of the Year in 2015. So very good list, full of players that deserve all the accolades that they got. A lot of these individuals I know, and they all don the same color, which is the amazing blue, which I like. But when I look at this list, I was a little perturbed yesterday. I've calmed down much since then. Before I say anything, I turn it over to a Spartan. And I'll see, when you saw the list yesterday, Anson, because you sent me a text, what did you think about the list?
Hold on.
I'll say something real quick before Anson get in there.
No, hold on. I just puked in my mouth. First and foremost, anytime I see corn and blue, I puke in my mouth. But on your behalf, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this was written by a guy who's not old enough to drink yet.
Has to be.
Because this list is swanky trash.
Wow.
Swanky trash. Now, we had a debate at the beginning or before the show. Is this just the impact that was had in Ann Arbor?
Right.
Because if it is, it's still trash. If this is a list based on your impact in Ann Arbor and as a pro, oh, guess what, Rick? It's also trash.
Yeah, right.
Okay? Because clearly you are about a 19-year-old intern if you're writing this list and leaving Braylon Edwards off. Maybe, Swank, you should take a trip to East Lansing and take a poll of Spartans and who has pissed us off most. Because I'm going to tell you who's near or at the top of the list, and it's Mr. Braylon Edwards. I don't know, where did Blake Corum go in the second round?
Something like that.
Where did all of these guys go, and what did they all do at the professional level? Because every name on that list outside of Jake Long and Aiden Hutchinson have all been forgotten, okay? Listen, let me just wash this taste out of my mouth again.
When I look at this list, I think
it's a hard thing for me to stomach reading this list as a Spartan because I shouldn't be getting upset. But I was upset to the point where I had to reach out to Braylon. And Swanky, you're very smart for only allowing approved comments on that post because you were getting one from me and so many others.
He blocked
Braylon,
comments.
what do you think about this list?
If we're going by impact, and once again, I said, look, I like Swanky. I like the work that he does on the Wolverine usually. And then great guy. And then the list. I know everybody on this list. I have personal relationships with a lot of people on the list. With that being said, I just disagree. I disagree.
I should hope so, my friend.
I disagree from the standpoint when you say impactful, like.
Weren't you undefeated against the Spartans?
Yes. Outside of Trey Burke, who deserves to be on this list, and he deserves to be as high as. Realistically, if you want to put a 1, then opinion is opinion. I have no problem with that because his biggest moment was on the biggest stage. It wasn't in the conference. It was in the Final Four. He hits the bank shot. He beats Kansas, and then he goes to the national championship game. And to be honest, I don't play the cheating game as it plays to the refs. I've never complained to the refs as a wide receiver. It just is what it is. I can't control what zebras do. That national championship in 2013, those refs had it out against Michigan. They wanted Patino to win, and it is what it is. I'll never see it differently. That Siva block, get out of here. If you want to put Trey Burke up there, fine. Like, I get it. If you want to put Blake Corum up there, I get that. 4 years, 4 wins over Ohio State, 4 Big Ten, 3 Big Ten championships. No, 4 Big Ten championships, national champion, and then what he did, it will resonate through years. Like, that's the last credible national. So if you want to put that, that's fine.
This is 25 years represented.
After that, I got nothing. Nick Stauskas?
But this is 25 years represented right
Chad
here.
Henne?
And let's talk about the quarterbacks that you guys have had since Tom Brady left.
Chad's my guy. No, let's start.
But what I'm saying, though, is I want to talk about the guys that should be on this list. J.J. McCarthy was a guy that everybody said couldn't do it.
But
right?
but you know where you have to be leery, and this is the one thing I took into account. That's why you got moves because Football could dominate this list. We know what the University of Michigan is, and I respect Swanky enough that you got to get other sports involved. It can't just be football, regardless if it is just football, because Lamar Woodley is not on this list. Brandon Graham is not on this list. Mario Manningham, one of the greatest catches in NFL history, it just so happened to be in the Super Bowl. Super Mario, not on this list. So I get that. There's a lot of football players. Denard Robinson was on the cover of NCAA. Should be on the list. Jake Long, he went number 1 overall, but was he impactful? Was Jake Long impactful? Nick Stauskas.
J.J. McCarthy's not on the list. Braylon Edwards is not on this list. Who the hell is Sierra Romero?
Softball.
Softball?
You know the
Come on.
What?
Ricky, are you kidding
Name
me?
3 Michigan softball players,
Oh,
period.
my goodness, man.
You know the thing that pissed me off about the list, to be honest? If I'm being honest, Pete, I'm bringing you in on this.
I got you.
To be honest, it was the honorable mention. Like, my effing name didn't even get mentioned in the honorable mention.
But Natalie Wojcik did.
Who the
Listen,
hell is
how many Wolverines can even name who Sierra Romero is?
I just think
and
that.
no disrespect, Sierra. I'm sure that you're an amazing athlete.
No, we not.
But when we're talking about impact, we're talking about Michigan lore and Spartan hatred. All right? And I love you, bro, but you inspired a lot of hate from Spartan fans.
And that's what I want to inspire. The thing is, it's recency bias, and that's what we talked about on this show. It's a recency bias. Individuals get younger and younger and younger. What I just tell you, I'm about to turn 42. Like, what comes with that is people start to erase and erode. Like, my biggest thing, and I'm done, I'll let Ricky and Pete have some fun with this as well. Number 1 receiver in Big Ten history. I didn't say school history. Big Ten history. Most of these cats are number 1 in their position at U of M. Like, Aiden Hutchinson played 1 year.
I'm offended on your behalf as a Spartan.
Stauskas was what, 4th best player on his team?
Right.
Tim Hardaway Jr. should have been ahead Stauskas if you want to play that card.
What about Karis LeVert?
Oh, he just stayed hurt at Michigan.
Yeah.
Like,
What was
he
that?
was really good. He just got hurt at Michigan the year they won. The year they
Sixth
lost.
man of the year. Who was that?
Oh, Glenn Robinson.
No. The other, the guy that just could dribble and I think he only
Spike.
I'm gonna have to figure
Spike
it out.
Olbrich. Derek Walton.
No, not Karis LeVert, but
Glenn Robinson,
the guy that could
Karis
just
LeVert.
he was a
Tim Hardaway
scoring
Jr.?
factory. No, I'll figure it out.
All right, you
Glenn
figure it out.
Robinson.
But like, at the end of the day, but it's fun and it shows you. Like Pete Carroll, I remember when I got to the Seattle Seahawks, I started to watch Pete and who he talked to as a coach. Pete wasn't talking to nobody that was over 4 years in the league.
Really?
Like Pete got look at Pete fell in love with the younger guy. He got Marshawn's ass up out of there.
Right.
He got a lot of those defensive line guys up out of there. You start to see, you get older, people start a little younger. So now I definitely get the list in terms of the erasing of the older culture. But like my man,
I
like,
look at this and I just think of the old Chappelle Show line when he goes, "Who the hell is
Chappelle
Renee
Show.
Zellweger?" Like that's how I think of
Yeah.
whatever. I like Sierra. Who the hell is Sierra Romero? Like why
Mike-
is this even a thing?
Mike G put it in the chat. She hit the home run, which
Yeah, I
won
remember,
the
yeah.
national championship for Michigan softball.
and that's what I said, and that's why I didn't say who the hell Sierra remember. I said I gave her stats. I just got to make sure I dig that clear. But this is also too. You do a post, and when you say impactful, you can't just use one sport. You got to use more. So you add the moments, you add the things, and you want everybody to be a contributor to your website, to your page.
Crazy.
You can't just have 8 football players and then Trey Burke.
Jamal Crawford, but that was a little before this.
I love Jamal.
Who I was thinking
He's
about.
on the fringe. He's 99. He's 98, 99.
2000 was his first year in the NBA. Franz Wagner is a guy that could be in this conversation.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I just
Crazy.
We're missing a good one.
There-
Where's Glenn Robinson III?
I have a real problem with this list, my friend.
But if you look at it, after you got Jake and Chad and Mike, everybody after that is 2010 plus.
Right.
Like, in fact, everybody's 2013 plus.
So how many of those people up there would you say? Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson should be there. Is it what, 2?
Should be on here.
On there, not in any particular order. But at least should be up there.
J.J. McCarthy should be on there 100%.
You know what I'm talking about? Who's on it? Is
Okay.
anyone on there that should actually be on there?
Oh, that should not?
No, that should be on
Oh,
there.
yeah. J.J. McCarthy has to be on that list. He should be in the top 5.
He's saying on the list who should stay.
Who should
I
stay?
got you.
Yes, there we go.
I got you. Aiden Hutchinson, but not nearly that high. I would put Aiden Hutchinson 10, 9, and the only reason why Aiden Hutchinson and that Michigan team, it started the Michigan love again.
Got you.
It started Michigan being in the limelight, Michigan being paid attention to, Michigan watching like, oh, shoot, here comes Michigan again. He was on that first team, and what did he finish in the Heisman that year? So if you want to put him 10 on the list, I'm fine. Blake Corum's on this list.
Yeah.
Because Blake Corum, for this new age Michigan, they don't think about Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
Blake Corum's too, for this age. I have no problem with that. Denard Robinson was on the cover of NCAA. You know what video games mean to the culture, and that is just the culture of sports.
Yeah.
If you're on a video game, you were somebody. He deserves to be on here. You can argue Mike Hart's, he has the most rushing yards ever, and the reason why Michigan State really hates Michigan started in 2007.
True that. True that.
Little brother comment.
I can speak up to that.
So the impact is still felt. I don't know how many games I'm talking about of Nick Stauskas. But I know that Michigan State October 30th, 2004 game, it still keeps a lot of Michigan State people up at night.
Yeah, he puts
He's
some
got
daggers.
dates and receipts.
Well, just because everyone wants to talk about it, whether they
saying some daggers.
whatever.
So
But
listen, let's talk about Aiden Hutchinson at the top, all right? If he's not a Detroit Lion, he's not at the top. For all the reasons you
he
mentioned.
might not be on this list.
For real. Okay, so if we're putting Aiden Hutchinson at the top, I'm sorry, I just believe that is because of his impact at the NFL.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
how are we
But they
leaving
do-
you as an all-pro in
Yeah.
the NFL off this list? Trey Burke, Denard Robinson, amazing time in Ann Arbor. What were they in the pros?
This is true.
Afterthoughts.
And this is why I know it wasn't talking about that next level when I want to, but to your point, like you know how they do that a lot with? They do it with number 10, aka number 12. Tom Brady was 10 in Michigan. Tom Brady's career in Michigan, outside of the Orange Bowl, where he had 3 touchdowns, he wins MVP. They beat Alabama with Shaun Alexander. Outside of that, his Michigan career is like, but they always they find a way to have him in there, and it exactly is because of that. It's because, oh wait, I got 7 Super Bowls, so we have to add the college level and put him up there. But interesting list though, like it's a definite conversation starter.
No hockey players.
And they make it to the Frozen Four
I know,
almost
right?
every year, every other year.
Who would you be number 1 hockey player of the last 25
Al
years?
Montoya when I played. Al Montoya got drafted 4th overall by the Rangers.
wow.
Yeah, he was number 4 overall by the Rangers, played 3 years, and then went, you know how they do in hockey and baseball. But Al Montoya was great. My boy was cold too, man. Eric
Brandon
Nystrom.
Graham,
I said BG.
Grant
BG,
Glasgow.
Detroit's own. Taylor Lewan. Talk about impact. If you want to go that route, nobody gets talked about more than Taylor Lewan on this list.
Sandra still?
And that's another one. Because if you're talking about this run that Michigan has had, Mikey Sanders still has the plays.
Hey, just ask the Lions.
Why didn't they draft him?
I know, man.
We got a couple of names from the chat. Jamal
Oh, go
Crawford,
ahead. Read them off. Read, go ahead.
Jamal Crawford, Lamar Woodley,
Yep.
Tyron Wheatley. I think they spelled that
Tyrone
right.
Wheatley, he's a little
Tyrone
too old.
Wheatley.
Like Tyrone got
yeah,
drafted
you got-
in 95.
Yeah, y'all got to remember 2000.
94.
No, a lot of people saying Braylon. There are a lot of people saying Braylon should be in there. Jamal Crawford, Hunter Dickinson.
My only issue with this is lazy journalism. Like, if you're going to do it, do it right.
Romero.
For sure. This is written by a guy.
What do you say?
They just who is here? Romero. It's a couple of them. Who the hell is
Bro, you
Renee
dethroned
Zellweger?
Anthony Carter. You dethroned Anthony Carter, AC. I mean, if you grew up in the black and blue division watching this guy do what he did for the Vikings, you knew where he did it first. And that was
University
for
of Michigan and then the Michigan
Wolverines.
Panthers.
And you dethroned this man. And we're still, I mean, come on.
Here's my last comment about it, and we want to switch to another number 1 of sorts. You talk about impact. And in the very comment right there, it says the top 10 most impactful. How do you not have the one up there with the most impactful number in U of M history, which is number 1? Like, if you go to University of Michigan throughout all the sports, there is a number that you know is the number. Like, how do you not have that as represented on here? I digress. You know what I want to bring? Number 1 overall pick in the NBA 2 years ago, San Antonio Spurs. They won the lottery and they drafted Victor Wembanyama. You saw what he did this year, this past summer, USA Paris. You saw what he did in the All-Star game, the whole nine. According to Shams Charania, and this is the real Shams, and this is a real story. San Antonio Spurs All-Star Victor Wembanyama is expected to miss the remainder of the season with a deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder. Thrombosis is another word, and we'll have Doc in a minute, which is a blood clot, I do believe.
That's correct.
That is the proper term for it. Doc could come in and have more on the medical side of things. Just talking about this, we know that blood clots are serious. Our very own Asar Thompson had blood clots last season, missed the remainder of the season and part of this season. So we know it's true. I wish nothing but the best for Victor, and I hope he gets back as fast as he can, as healthy as he can. But with that said, we now know a team that's not in the playoffs that gets a lot of grace from the NBA, a lot of love. They just got the number 1 pick. They also had Tim Duncan. They also got David Robinson, all of that in the 36-year span. So now are they going to tank? And the player that comes to mind, none other than Cooper Flag.
It's the Twin Towers again. It's happening. It puts your money on the San Antonio Spurs getting another number 1 pick, and they will recreate the Twin Towers. But I'm going to upset some people right now because I know you went to a fantastic medical school, but you don't have a medical degree, correct?
Correct.
But you do know that there's 2 ways to a blood. Well, there's 3. Protein S deficiency. Okay. All right. Old age.
Which he does not.
And then the third, I'm not going to actually say, but 20-year-olds who don't have prior surgeries.
Something that you added to your body.
Listen, exactly. The third way is through a surgery. If you had a surgery at a young age, then you can get a blood clot. But now there's this new way that's popped up in the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm going to go ahead and say it.
Go ahead.
A recent study said that between 15 and 20 million people died over the last 4 years. Up to 80 million more were disabled. And 900 million people were injured. Now I'm going to show you the base number, and that is 5 billion people in this planet added something to their body in the last 4 years. So what I'm telling you right now is 1 out of 5 have been injured or worse. And at some point, we are all going to have to start talking about this. Darren Waller, very high up tight end, one of the better tight ends in the game, mysteriously retired. No information. Our very own Asar Thompson gets a blood clot at 19 years old.
Bronny James.
He had the cardiac arrest.
Shaq's son.
Do you know how many strokes?
Shaq's son.
Do you know how many strokes there have been in the NFL in the last 3 years?
7.
It's unbelievable the amount of injuries that are happening to young people in the world. How many people are dropping on the pitch? The high level of myocarditis in young athletes. When are we going to have an honest conversation about what is going on in our world right now? And I'll tell you what, this guy, Victor Wembanyama, the darling and future of the NBA, the first European non-American born player, well, maybe Joker is now, but we're about to have back-to-back foreign players that are the greatest in the NBA. And now we've lost one for an entire season. And honestly, we didn't know when Asar was going to come back. We didn't know if he was going to come back. And now we're going to have to answer the same questions about Victor Wembanyama. And it's about time we start having a very honest conversation.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Speaking of honest conversations, did you hear what happened with one of the players that a lot of people in Detroit have wanted to the Pistons? Yeah, he got suspended for for performance-enhancing drugs. None other than Bucks forward Bobby Porter's representative tells ESPN Bobby unintentionally took a pain medication called Tramadol, thinking that he was taking pain medication called Toradol. I know all about Toradol. ESPN story on Porter's 25-game ban. But long story short, this is another one of those stories like Shohei Ohtani where it comes up, oh, there's a gambling problem. Oh, it's my manager. Is this another situation like that, or is this truth? I'll speak first. when you have managers in the NBA, the NFL, NHL, MLB, a lot of times they're friends that you know. Like my manager when I played in the NFL was my boy Hayes. Shout out to Hayes Grooms. He actually reached out to me the other day.
Love Hayes.
I know you know Hayes. Shout out to Nick Beanie and shout out to Larnell. These were my managers. They know everything about you. Like they have access to everything. Like there is genuine access to all things Braylon, all things Jets, all things Browns. There are like that because of the trust. So it is, in my world, possible that he could have been given the wrong pill. With that being said,
especially with the names being that close,
100%,
right?
100%. With that being said, it's still your fault.
Yeah,
like it's still your fault. Like regardless of it, it sucks. Yeah. It sucks. But it's still your fault because you took something someone gave you, and your process wasn't vetted. Like I don't care that it's your friend. Like if you know that it's something that can cause you a 25-game suspension, you're going to make sure that it's legit. So in my opinion, it is very real that he could have been given the wrong medication. And he wasn't taking it on purpose, but it's still his fault.
I think one of the plagues of humankind is the blame game. I think one of the most positive things you can find in your life is finding fault in every problem that happens, because then you can improve yourself. If your friend drives home and gets a DUI, it's supposedly not your fault. But if you find fault in yourself, next time you're going to be a little bit quicker to take those keys from your friend. And that permeates in everything that we have in our lives. If you find fault with yourself, you will figure it out and not make that same mistake again the next time. And so, hey, it's not a PES, you know, it's something different, a little over-the-counter gas station medication. But, hey, PEDs and PES, it's not something new. You got to read the fine print.
With all that said, Ricky, is this still a player that you wouldn't mind having on the Pistons bench as a stretch forward, experienced champion? You know what he's brought to each team. He's been somebody that they can depend on. Is he still a player that could fit somewhere with the Detroit Pistons?
Yeah, of course. I don't think this would hinder him at all, honestly. Let me make sure my mic is on. I don't think this would hinder that decision at all for me. Get him. I mean, it could be only because the names are so close. Like you said, it's his fault, yes, but this one doesn't bother me yet. We still want.
Hey, the stretch four is the one missing piece this team has right now.
Exactly.
They need a Bobby Portis type. This isn't you know, a domestic abuse or a DUI. You know.
Yeah. This isn't a character flaw. Like those are the things as a coach that I'll be looking for. If it's something a character issue, I don't want to bring in those type of characters. This isn't a character issue, at least in my opinion. Let's stick with the NBA. Let's stick with the Pistons. 2028. It could be a special year for the city of Detroit. It could be a special year for LCA. The All-Star Game potential. First time the All-Star Game has been here since the Palace in.
No.
Oh,
1979,
that's
my
right.
friend.
It was Joe Louis. Joe Louis.
Kobo.
That's what I meant.
1979. My entire life, we talked about this yesterday. I always thought we were going to get it. And then we built the state-of-the-art arena known as the Palace of Auburn Hills, and we didn't have it then. But again, you know, the city, you can't have an all-star game up in Auburn Hills.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do.
Yeah.
So now we've got the city going. We kind of had the smoke and mirrors in 06 with the Super Bowl, but we crushed it last year with the draft.
Yeah.
And all four leagues were put on notice. This is a city that you can bring 1 million people to, and they will be happy. They will find plenty of things to do, and they'll be safe doing it. So
Pete,
it's time.
Pete, do me a favor. I see Doc right there, and we'll get to him in a second. Throw that back up there so I can read it to the folks and give my quick opinion. This per Mike Sullivan, Detroit is the front runner to host the 2028 NBA All-Star Game, and potential economic impact is massive. The 2024 event in Indianapolis generated over let this sink in, generated over $400 million, including $112 million earned in media value. Proof that a global event like this fuels the business, tourism, and brand exposure. But we've already known that for how good we did with the with the NFL draft, like you mentioned. The difference in the Super Bowl in 06, the difference with the NBA All-Star Game in 28 is it will see a city that has grown and grown and grown and grown. Last year, I had a chance to partake in the All-Star Game, in NBA draft. I went up there, I drafted the Jets pick. It was amazing just to see the city like that. Since then, more restaurants, more hotels, more collaborations, more banks, businesses opened up, cleaning up around the areas, expanding closer to King High School, closer to Belle Isle, closer to Corktown. They're even having hotels at the top level of the train station that just opened up last year. Detroit is the place to be, and there is no mistake and there is no coincidence. When I went to that Mavericks game, who did I pop up and see? It was Adam Silver. Adam Silver was here for a lot more than that Luka Doncic trade. He was here for the future of Detroit as it relates to the NBA.
Braylon, I'm just curious, how many players on Swanky's list presented draft picks this past year?
The answer is zero. The answer is zero. Dr. Jeff Pierce is in the building. Can't wait to get to him in a second. We're going to talk about this Victor Wembanyama situation and find out what's the details. How long will he come back? You know the old song and dance that you guys love to do. But let's get a message in merch.
Yeah, that's right, man. You're tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch. I know you are. It's a new era in sports wearables, new designs, apparel that has the ultimate swag, guaranteeing the turd heads, guaranteed to have everybody be like, yo, where'd you get that? I need to get that. Get your new sports gear at shop.woodwardsports.com. Hoodies, tees, hats, get them now. Shop.woodwardsports.com. And if you're trying to get a new dream home, hey, we moving here, ladies and gentlemen. We moving here. If you're looking for a new dream home, we're feeling that financial pinch. Mark White and Associates are your trusted real estate experts, and they will help you out. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right. I said it, $5,000, up to $5,000 of the closing costs. Call Mark White and Associates today, 248-290-8242, or visit them at markwhitesales.com. Once again, that number, 248-290-8242, to make your dreams come true. And no, I'm joking. Let's go.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
Let's give it up for David Tully, everybody. David Tully. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Head to woodwardsports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. Woodwardsports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at woodwardsports.com.
Hey, hockey fans, you know what time it is, baby. Yeah, USA time. You can join Woodward Sports Network coming up tonight live at 8 o'clock from RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills. I'm going to be there. Sam Flannel's going to be there. We got Justin Satawa coming in as well. We're going to have a lot of the crew over there, and we are going to be ready to watch USA defeat Canada in the Four Nations Championship game. Catch the battle of the border with great food, cold drinks, and the best hockey atmosphere around. Can't forget to thank Bitter Tom's Distillery, which offers a inventive twist on modern-day craft cocktails for keeping the spirits high that we all need. Don't miss it. USA versus Canada, Woodward Sports at RJ's Pub, and we will see you there, my friends. Braylon?
Soroki's Signature Wings, limited time offer. I keep saying that they will not be here soon. So you got to go down and check them. 7 new flavors for you, man. The lemon pepper is the one. Soroki's is the real fans' favorite. So come on down, try some of the signature wings. If you don't want to try those, then stick with what always is good there, and that's the crispy chicken. That's what brought you in, and the pizza. And oh, by the way, I see you looking out the corner of my eyes. It's the honey biscuits. The honey biscuits are real, and so are the fans at Soroki's. Man, enjoying this show, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, listening to the show from time to time, having that chat going and fired off. You guys give a lot of topics that we love to tap into. The chat is funny. We do this show for you, so we appreciate that. With that being said, you know it's Thursday. You know what time it is. Our injury insider, but more to me is a friend, Dr. Jeff Pierce. What's up, brother?
All good, buddy.
Hockey, man. With Pete.
First of all, I love your outfit today.
Hey,
I love the color.
Oh, thank you.
You're bringing this gray sky, some brightness.
That means a lot to me because I know you're all around with the travel, so I know you get to see a lot of outfits. Thank you,
Boise
sir.
State colors or what?
You know what? It's not bad. I'll take the Broncos.
All right.
The Boise State
It
Broncos.
takes a real man to pull off salmon pants.
Right. No,
It takes
I didn't even see
I
those.
respect it, right?
It takes a real man to admit it's salmon. You know, like all these people that you tell them salmon or versions of pink, they're like, no, it's Louvre or it's
that's
this.
salmon, baby.
Nah, it's salmon, and I'm cool with that. Pete?
Yes.
Doc saw the flag, and he was wondering what the flag was doing here. Do me a favor,
Should we
show him
show
the video.
him? All right, here we
show
go,
him
Doc.
the video. We'll
Let's
talk
see.
through it. Doc, this is Pete running across Woodward. This is from the other side of the AAA building. And Doc, he's excited. His Team USA plays tonight against Canada. And oh, by the way, the fireworks came out the first time these two played. 3 fights in 90 seconds. Pete is telling us who's going to win. Before we start with tonight, let's go with last night.
Yep.
Sled hockey, where similar game. Talk about it.
So, Athletes Unlimited, our charity that we all sponsor and everybody here has been a part of, which I appreciate. We sponsor the sled hockey team, which we're taking them on. That's where a lot of us saw Vladimir Konstantinov come back on the ice, and it became very emotional. I got to watch him on Saturday firsthand. With a tournament that we had locally here in Taylor, we had 20 teams from 6 different states, and we actually had 2 teams from Ontario. So the real first hockey USA against Canada was sled hockey last night, and USA took Canada 4-3.
What's the score? 4-3?
Yeah, 4-3.
Is this foreshadowing into tonight?
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling more like a 4-2. 4-2 Detroit.
Can you guys
Detroit,
clarify
USA.
sled hockey?
I was thinking the same thing.
Sled hockey is for disabled individuals.
Oh, okay.
And
So
they're in
like
sleds.
wheelchair basketball.
Very cool.
Kind of.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so it's Athletes Unlimited is for disabled athletes, and actually Vladdy, it's a sled that you're in, and we have one player now who's working for towards the USA team. One of our players on the Bell Tire sled hockey team is on the Canadian team because we're so close to the border. So unfortunately, we weren't rooting for him last night, but a lot of shout out to him. Great individual. Probably get those guys on the show here in the next couple of weeks. I just want to get more attention to what we're doing and people out there. And Athletes Unlimited is really stepping it up. And for the listeners, if you know anybody who's disabled, who's looking for sports, we're going to rebuild that umbrella for the hockey, for basketball. What's cool is we're talking about disabled lacrosse.
Oh.
So, we have a passion for lacrosse in my family.
Is your son going to coach?
My son and his friends and his girlfriend, we're pulling them out to be coaching. But Grand Rapids has a team. There's only 6 teams in the country right now. but it's the fastest growing sport for able-bodied. Now it's very, high growth for disabled individuals too. So if you haven't seen it, we'll put together a clip and we'll put it out through Woodward Sports about sled hockey. So we'll get that
I'd love to see
together so you guys have more of an insight.
Doc's son's one of the coolest kids around. Like, legitimately. Like,
I can believe that.
Like, I love Doc. Doc's cool, but, like, there's a reason. Like, the sons are always cooler. At least that's what my dad tells me. That would be interesting, too, because Austin Matthews, who's one of the best talents in the NHL, plays for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but he's playing for Team USA. I know that's got to be a little bit interesting for, like, fans. Toronto, I know they're like, yeah, you're Maple Leafs, but right now it's Canada, so we can't necessarily cheer for Austin Matthews, kind of like what you just said.
No, I mean, look, the game was crazy. USA set the pace for the last game. Fortunately, there was no injuries, a few sore jaws and a couple sore knuckles, but I think overall, I never would have predicted that. I don't think we're going to see that. 3 fights in 90 seconds. Or was it 9 seconds?
90.
9-0.
Maybe.
I think it was 9.
Maybe it was 9.
It was 9 seconds.
As soon as the puck dropped, I think it started. So you might be right.
And then the puck dropped again. And
Yep.
That's hockey. I love it. Respect to football, but my hockey players, they're the toughest guys on the field.
It's just true because they allow them to operate in that gladiator space and then drop that and come right back to there's rules and regulations. So I've always appreciated that. Shout out to D-Mac because that is my guy. And there is a level of when you're playing for your country, like when it's country for country, it's just a different emphasis. I've been watching that quarter goal. Actually, I just finished it talking about the Olympics, talking about Team USA basketball versus Serbia versus Germany and then versus Paris, France.
Right.
But the intent is there, and that's why I wanted the NBA All-Star Game to get to this point where it's USA versus the world, because that is the only way to cure All-Star Game. Like if you want the All-Star Game cured, it has to be USA versus the world, because PK Subban, man, he stood up for his NHL and he made a lot of points, man. Like that intensity is. It's something that you want to see. NHL Hockey All-Star, Maz always says it, and I agree they get it right.
No, I don't disagree. I mean, being my day, we went through the Russians, then we went through the Swedes, we went through all that. I mean, the commodity, the team itself. I mean, you saw the Red Wings, like you're saying, Matthews plays for Toronto. Dude, they had a breakup right there. I mean, and it was pride in that locker room who was bringing gold home.
Yeah.
And there was a lot. And USA wasn't the ones bringing gold home back then for hockey. So, us against the world, but playing for your country is just more pure. There's no agents. There's no lawyers. There's no general managers. You're playing there for the heart of your country.
Okay, let me ask you this. 1981, is that the Miracle on Ice?
Yes.
1980.
1980?
Yes.
Okay, 1980, the Miracle on Ice. That was an infusion of hockey fans once a lot of them heard it because it still was on radio at that time. But once you find out that USA has beat the Russians, by the way, there was a game after that. That was not the gold medal game. But once that happened, the influx of hockey was notable when you look at the ages. Will that happen with this? Like, can this grow the sport of hockey? Because it has been on the decline, much like the MLB, but worse.
I think all sports in some way are on a decline with the kids because of the gaming and things like that. They have all their alternatives. It's hard. It's expensive. There's a lot of things. But, I think the morale and the PR of it, and there's just more options. I mean, when we were kids, or I'm older than you guys, but
42 tomorrow, by the way, Doc.
You?
Yeah.
You catching up.
42 tomorrow.
I'm going to beat you again on next Tuesday. I won't even tell you my number. But I look as good as
Pisces.
you some days.
That's why we're brothers. We're Pisces brothers.
That's right. We're swimming together, dude.
Okay.
But, I just, I don't know where I want to go with this. It's like, you're right. Number one is USA wins or loses. They saw the match. The people that are watching that are interested. Hockey, I don't know if it's on a decline. I think it's flattening. Where you're seeing things like lacrosse, some of the other stuff, the gaming. Even we had a big discussion. I brought everybody together about disabled sports. The gaming is considered a sport now. They're talking about Olympics. They're talking about, you got to realize it's the activity level needs. I don't know how to politely say it. We need to get off our butts and start getting outside, putting the phones down, putting the technology down. I get it. We get our information 10 times faster, but nothing was better. Like, I was just reminiscing with my son on how I was with my brother. We were like the team. It was 2-on-2 in the subdivision.
Okay.
We were bad. We were good because I was, I told him I was the difference.
You like that. If they wanted to get the title, they had to come to your house.
That's right.
They had to take the chip.
Basketball, football, 2-on-2. I challenged the chat room, but we were in my sub. Everybody was like 4 years apart. So there was 2 boys, 4 years apart. There was another 6 of us that were there with that 2 to 3 year apart, where I was the younger brother. So it wasn't like we were 20 and 16. We were like 12 and 8. I was pretty good at 8 years old.
Check you out. I don't want to disrupt your story of the good old days. I want you to do some work. Announcement today. Victor Wembanyama, number 1 pick overall 2 years ago, San Antonio Spurs. He now has a thrombosis issue in his shoulder. I believe you said it's the undershoulder. For those out there, we talked about it. It's a blood clot of sorts. Asar Thompson, last year, he's diagnosed with blood clots, misses the remainder of the season. He misses some of this year. For Wemby, what does it say for the eminent superstar in this sport based off his alien-like skills?
Well, it's kind of scary. They already ruled him out for the rest of the season. So he's immediately on blood thinners. Now the question is, why did it form? So it's a thickening of the blood. He didn't have any issue. He didn't have any trauma, which is even more concerning. It's usually pain in the armpit where the vascular system runs. Okay, so it's really in the arm, but everything runs through your nerves and veins, and everything, arteries are running through your armpit, basically. Oh. So it's in that system, which is very concerning. He probably developed some pain. I don't know if he has some trauma to ignite it, but it's you got to worry about what's the medical condition. And a lot of times you have thickening. A guy that size, we worry about a slew of medical conditions that he's been passing physicals for already.
Doc, guys that are that age, young players that have not had surgeries in their past, blood clots are rare, correct?
Very rare.
Are you seeing an uptick in young athletes having blood clot issues that have not had prior surgeries?
Within the last 5 years?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there is I don't know if you're linking this to the COVID thing.
You said it, not me.
Yeah.
That's
5-letter word.
That's exactly where he's going.
I know. I get fed in. I got to follow my lead
I asked you
or
this
distract
summer the
me
same
from
thing
the
with
lead.
Asar. I asked you the same thing about Asar. I was a little more PC this time.
Yeah.
But we're seeing a rise in turbo cancer. We're seeing a rise in myocarditis, and we're seeing a rise in sediment and mass fibrin clots in people. And mass fibrin clots did not exist up until the last 5 years. So I'm curious. You have the practical knowledge.
Is what?
Is that true?
It is true. It's not just in athletes, and it's in people.
Yes,
I mean, I've had someone close to me that we are blaming COVID for it. There is a thickening of the blood. There is some issues. Look, you can find studies to back almost everything up. I can back up why pet rock is good for your psychological issues.
That's fair. And that is fair. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Might have to explain that to some of our listeners.
Right.
Not those 42 and up.
My brother had one.
Yeah. I'm not going to the chia pets just yet, but yeah, I mean, I don't want to get all hard and serious, but there are studies linked that there is thickening of the blood. There's, was COVID changed us, right? COVID changed from a lot of things. I'm not going to go pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine, especially with
smart.
Kennedy right now is pushing for it. I'll let that go for another show.
Yeah.
But we have to be more concerned, right? Symptoms are being more aggressively looked at. Like he might have just had, regular player or our viewers, I got pain in the arm, and that's all he probably had. and then the arm gets a little cold and circulation gets a little bit worse, and oh my God, he's probably got a blood clot. That's probably the way the steps happen. And for us, we're not some superstar that's 7'6", there's other medical conditions. I'm not saying he has anything to do with COVID, because there are other medical conditions that he could have.
Sure.
Like Marfan's is the big one that comes to mind, which is there's some vascular side effects. So not to get too technical medically, but yeah, there are other things in his case. But to answer your question about is there a connection and is there more blood clots? Yeah, you're seeing more blood clots in the community, not just on our world of sports. I think we're more in tune to it.
I appreciate
If anything,
that.
we should be less because we're conditioned athletes. We're pushing that circulation harder than a sedentary lifestyle individual.
More reason we shouldn't be finding them in 20-year-old athletes.
There's no reason we should be finding them in 20 years.
At all.
Unless they have genetic issues.
I really, truly appreciate your very honest answer on something that people are not willing to talk about quite yet.
Right.
I appreciate both of you because that's exactly what I was going to say. So I appreciate that conversation. Great question by you, and I appreciate the follow-through. Let's switch gears so we're not talking about COVID 2025 too much more. Do me a favor. Put that backdrop back up there, Ricky.
Yes, please.
Doc,
yes, please.
Doc, I saw this yesterday.
I'm glad I was ready.
And, Doc, I'm telling you.
Oh, my God.
Like, I'm telling you, Doc.
I can't read it. It's blurry.
I'm going to read it for you. Don't worry. Woke up yesterday, 8:30 a.m., and I woke up to
Isn't there
this.
somebody missing?
Top 10 most impactful Michigan athletes, Doc, since 2000. 2000. These are your guys. Aiden Hutchinson, Blake Corum, Trey Burke, Denard Robinson,
Where's his impact?
Jake Long, Chad, Nick Stauskas, Mike Hart, Naz Hillman, and Sierra Romero. And I love, this is the funny part about the list. Why are the only 2 females on the list 9 and 10? Like,
Same
that's the
difference.
funny part.
DEI, bro.
I mean, Nike's the only one giving respect to females
This
right
is
now.
true. This is true.
Nike's taking a big charge.
First glance at the list, and what do you see? What do you think? What are your thoughts? Because you are a Michigan guy.
No, I'm not.
Ish. I see you. I see Ish.
Ish.
A lot of your friends and my friends, we're from Ann Arbor.
That's right. I have a lot of respect for Ann Arbor. Grew
That's
up
a fair
there.
way to put it.
But the impactful. God, that there should be another word there. I'm not sure that's the right word. Look, Hutchinson is huge. We can talk about Hutchinson all day. That's about all.
If he didn't play for the Lions,
Chad Henning, what? I can't even tell you where he is right now.
Who should be on that list? Give us your top 3.
Well, the guy sitting here
Amen.
should be there.
Thank you kindly.
The guy who does that ESPN thing.
Okay.
And probably Hutchinson.
JJ should be on there too, don't you think?
JJ hasn't proven yet.
But see,
he won a national championship, so how is he not on
well,
there?
see, to me, we talked about it before the show because, like, is this the most impactful time in Ann Arbor or just the most impactful Wolverine athletes?
Yeah.
Because if it's reaching beyond that, JJ should be on there just for his 4 years in Ann Arbor, which compares with all these guys in here. Because Trey Burke, Denard Robinson, awesome time in Ann Arbor, but they didn't do anything at the pro level.
As it relates,
impactful Michigan athlete. Impactful on what? That's what I'm saying. Define impactful. I mean, that's a big word for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's impact for me is impact. Like I
you've
know what the
made a
definition-
difference
on a scale that you can remember. I would say that's what impactful was. Like in 15,
What year were you?
2001 to 2005.
That's since 2000.
I agree with you.
Weren't you like a big pick when you came out? Yeah, I thought so.
An egregious omission.
I figure we have some fun with this though, but I actually know the guy.
Who's
that runs,
behind this?
Swanky
Wolverine.
Pretty sure he's not old enough to drink.
He or she is a good person. Like they're along the lines with Dov Kleiman, Pete.
Yes.
Where I talk to him in DMs, but I talk to them. Like I don't know who or what them is. It's like Dov Kleiman where you're like, you don't know, but all their content's pretty good. Usually the content's really good off this site. This is just one that caught me, and I think it's
the credibility.
I think it's recency. I think it's recency bias more than anything. You look at outside of Jake, Chad, Mike, everybody in here is 2013 or current. Like you eliminated 13 years out of 25. So it's a younger journalist. It's a younger, which happens
you
to
guys
us
send
old
up some
dogs.
tape.
Nah, I ain't got to do all that. I think my comments.
I think.
Yeah, my comments on the
I
page
think this
were
is a
enough.
great thing for Woodward Sports. If this guy's getting your attention, I think Woodward Sports have the Michigan State, the Michigan.
There you go.
Let's really update this.
Okay, this is a good one. Yeah. This is how we'll finish. Let's switch gears. Let's get rid of the corn and blue, as you say. Michigan State,
Corn.
2000 top 10 most impactful. First 3 or 4 or 5 that come to mind. If you're talking 2000s, it has to be. Does Mateen count? Or is that right on the fringe?
That's who I was gonna say.
I mean, national championship.
Yeah.
You got to
So-
put him and Mopeed on there.
Oh,
Mateen, true.
And honestly,
Let me
you
get
could
out of
put
your school.
Izzo on there as well.
Athletes.
But these are athletes.
Athletes.
This
All
is
right, can't do
athletes.
that.
You're right.
You're gonna have to cut.
We
you're-
did win the Rose Bowl, and
So, but who would that be? Would that be Stanton? Not Stanton. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Would that be?
I can't remember.
Shoot, I can number 4. Lewerke? That wasn't Lewerke.
Draymond Green is on that list.
Was he on that list before he went to Golden State and won 4 rings?
Yeah, because realistically, he was a 4-year player.
He won Player of the Year.
Yeah, and he was a hell of a player there. And honestly, people slept on him in the draft. He went further than he should have. And again, we're not really clear on whether this is your time in EL or Ann Arbor.
Yeah, no, it has
or-
to be because Mike didn't even finish.
It has to be based
Mike
on
didn't,
this list.
Mike
for
didn't.
sure.
I think Mike played 2 years in Michigan, so it has to be your time in
got a
Michigan.
good
Michigan
Spartan
State,
for
that
you.
would be a good one. T.J. Duckett is a guy I think about, but it's just who I played against.
I got a
more
good Spartan for you.
Than Impic. Charles Rogers.
Hey, Ricky.
What you got?
Oh,
Turn the mic up.
No, I was gonna say I got a good Spartan for you guys. Sean Respert, where's he at on your list?
Kenneth Walker absolutely
Ooh,
would be on
there
that
you go.
list.
Okay.
K9 would be on that
Okay.
list. Absolutely.
What was he here? 2 years?
Oh, the quarterback
He was only there 1 year, but he scored 5
Cousins.
touchdowns.
Your
Cousins.
No, it was Connor Cook.
Connor Cook.
Cook was the one that won it in the Rose Bowl.
Right,
Cousins
right.
is before. Cook won, and then Lewerke was the next Connor Cook. I know more about Michigan State than y'all do. Just throw that out there. You know what I'm saying?
You do have a lot
you
of
had to
knowledge.
study him.
True. And I respect the rivalry. Like, when you respect
do.
the rivalry, like
You do.
you can crack
That's
your
right.
jokes.
Love
but
that about you.
You dial in, you know some.
Yeah.
You have to. If you're gonna respect the rivalry, you gotta know some stuff.
Yeah.
You can't come in here like, yeah, y'all suck. That does not work in a real rivalry. Doc, what you got? What's new with you? We got 4
Justin
minutes.
Timberlake tonight.
JT.
LCA, I'll be there.
You won't be the only one.
Huh?
You won't be the only one. I'm not going, but my girl is.
No, I mean, it's, he was just in Grand Rapids, and he's here now. So I'll be there taking care, make sure it goes smooth, right? The limiting factor, not really.
Here's a good conversation. I feel like this, and I was talking to my mom about it, and I feel like concerts are going to get to a point where it's either the intimate small crowds or it's the megala star like Beyonce, like Taylor Swift, because you either got money to pay 1,000 up or you got money to pay 45 to 125. But like that tweener crowd, like 300, 400, why am I paying $400 to go see Maxwell?
They're right now, when you talk, not that I have inside information, but when you start talking to them, they're pushing it. The scalpers have driven the prices up to where
Secondary market.
the artist is saying, why am I making money for the scalper? We might as well boost our, there's too big of a margin. So they're seeing what the ceiling is obnoxiously. I know Kid Rock was very outspoken a week or two ago about the ticket prices and that you're outpricing the people that really want to go, and then we can go to the Lions. Did we really outprice the true fans and stuff like that? So I think that's where you're going. But no, I don't. I love agreeing with you, but I don't agree with you.
Okay.
Because there's a whole young crowd that follows those young entertainers and watches them grow. And they're willing to pay to watch them grow. The guys that show up at St. Andrews and then all of a sudden they're doing LCA 2 years later. And we were the real people that watched them. Because my daughter does that. She's picked out a lot of young people. I'm at Meadowbrook or I'm at St. I want to go there to see this band before they're at Pine Knob or LCA and they can afford it because they are $45 then. But it's like anything. It's like watching you for free at college, and then I gotta watch, pay big dollars to watch you.
You got to watch me for free in college? Who's you know? Michigan tickets ain't never been free. See, this is why Doc is Doc, man. He has the inside.
Oh, that's
come on. They were like $25 back when you. Now they're.
First of all, I'm not that old. Okay, tickets were $85 when I played.
The issue is service fees.
No,
I don't have a problem with ticket costs going up. But when you're looking at your service fees nearly doubling the cost, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
And these online companies, there needs to be a reckoning.
Yeah, it's like insurance and all the other things that they add
It's
to
funny.
tickets.
There's more of them, and they're not competing to drop their price.
No.
So they gotta be having a backroom conversation.
Collusion.
Yeah, Live Nation. They own it all. It's strictly Live Nation.
Well, he comes up every so often. That the guy named Sean Carter. That's Live Nation does have a foothold on that. Whenever I go get a Pine Knob, I got a Rock Nation guy. That's Live Nation. That's
Live Nation, AEG. Some independents are coming up.
Madison House.
It's sad because it is hard to see.
Yeah.
I don't. This has nothing to do with medical, but I don't know how people are affording to live naturally right now. To eat, to do everything. And to spin it to medical. To eat healthy.
You got 10 seconds, Doc. It's past 4 o'clock. I'm just throwing that out
All right,
there.
let's go. To eat healthy is too costly. We want to hear what you want me to talk about in the chat about that. I mean, because we can't live on McDonald's anymore. We can't live on Pizza Hut saying,
and we
2
can't
pizzas.
afford eggs.
Can't afford eggs.
I will tell you this. If Pizza Hut still had the old school salad bar, we could live off of Pizza Hut.
Wendy's too.
100%. And the chili and the salad bar.
You know why they're gone?
Chocolate pudding.
You want to know why they're gone firsthand?
Why?
Because of the research done, it wasn't profit. It was a lost leader. Nobody was paying for it. McDonald's, if you sit there and interview McDonald's to the T, when you peel back, they'll say our research has showed healthy food will not make money for us.
Yep.
There you
I
go.
will tell you this for all those in the chat to say we leave early. Well, last time I checked was 4:01 and we're still here. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we appreciate Dr. Jeff Pierce as always, our injury insider. Shout out to Ricky, my man, P Spivak, and Anson. Always good to work with you. They will be here tomorrow. I will not. I will be celebrating 42, and I say this to you. Thank you for all the love. We'll see you tomorrow.
Happy birthday,
thank you.
Braylon.
Thank you.